The Uncle Gold Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Uncle Gold Podcast. My name is Borna Zuber, and today I invited a guest speaker, Dickson Tang. I met him at a presentation from Sasha Peter, who was also in the previous podcast. He's a keynote speaker. He's an author of a book that we're going to mention later, and I'm super proud to have him here today because we're going to go into a really cool topic about creativity and AI technology and jobs. So, Dickson, welcome to the Uncle Gold Podcast.
Hey, hi, Warner. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you, Dickson. I hope you're doing well during these crazy times and everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah, I'm keeping it well. I'm based in Singapore in Asia, and I know you're in Ireland, right? So I hope everything in Ireland is doing fine as well.
Yes, on our side, everything is still under lockdowns, but they're talking now of removing them. So let's hope that during summer, everything will get back to normal. But Dickson, as I mentioned, I was impressed with your presentation that you did for Sasha Peter and his classroom there. You're the author of the book Leadership for the Future of Work, and there you discuss 9 ways to build career edge over robots with human creativity. Now that's a big topic there. And it sounded very interesting to me. I think it's a topic that we'll hear a lot more about in the next few years. But for everybody that is not familiar with your work, can you tell us a little bit who you are and what you do and how this book came about?
Oh, great. Hi, everybody. My name is Dickson Tang. I'm based in Singapore. And what I do full-time, I'm a full-time keynote speaker, author, and facilitator. So I help companies and individuals develop the soft skills necessary for the future. And I work with companies like JVC, Kenwood, Montblanc, Rakuten, Citic Telecom, and a few other companies. So I do both like corporate work as well as like individual coaching work. Right? So great to be here today.
Awesome. Those are the kind of things that my audience is also very interested in. We get a lot of coaches on here, and that's something that I think that a lot of people should focus on in the future. So just in case anybody wants to reach out to you and connect, I know that you use YouTube, and we'll leave the links below, but where can people reach you most easily?
Okay, great. Yes, I am on, I have my YouTube channel, and also I'm active on LinkedIn, right? So in terms of social media, these are the 2 major channels you can reach me. And on the other hand, I also have my own website, right? So my website is dicsontang.me, right? So it's DICKSONTANG.me, right? So that is my website.
All right, perfect. Can you tell us a little bit about the book, Leadership for the Future of Work? What is going on in the leadership space, and what is the future of work? Where are we going?
Okay, great question. So why I write this book, right? So a lot of people ask me, hey, Dickson, why you want to write this book, right? So my answer is really simple. Future requires creativity, right? Because most of the standardized job will go to AI, machines, right? So future requires creativity, but unfortunately, the school system, or at least the school system I went through in Asia, did not really help us to be creative, right? So there's a big gap, right? Future needs creativity and creative thinking. Traditional school system not supplying that, and there's a big gap, and that's why I want to close this gap, right, through like keynote speaking, writing content, right? So that is something I'm very passionate about.
I agree with you there that schools leave a gap there. I felt that when we were younger, we had arts classes and things where our creativity was engaged a lot more. But as we got older, we got less and less opportunity to use that. Is creativity something that people can learn, or is it like a muscle that you have to practice it, or is it something that if you didn't do it, you just don't have it?
Okay, yeah. People ask me this question, right? Is creativity something like inborn? That means like you come with creativity, or is it something you can learn? So I think the reality is, I personally believe that we are all born creative, right? We are all born creative. Why? If we look at right the 1-year-old or 2-year-old kids, right? They can just pick up whatever item and then they can just play around with it, right? So So for them, the world, right, the entire world is the big playground, right? So I believe everybody is creative by nature, but unfortunately, the more we study at school and also the longer we work in the office space, we tend to like follow certain norm systems and all the discipline. Somehow we park our creativity aside, right? So if you ask me, right, can creativity be trained, right? Of course, right? You can always learn and pick up creativity, and also the more you practice creative thinking, the more you practice being creative, right, you will get better.
Do you know maybe what are the best first steps someone can take in when they want to foster their creativity? Is it taking an arts class, or would you recommend something else?
Okay, sure. I would say the first thing is always about the mindset, right? The mindset, because once you change your mindset, you open up your mindset, right, things will get easier. So as a first step, right, I would always suggest people to stop saying cannot, start saying why not, right? Stop saying cannot, start saying why not. That is a small shift, but big implication to your audience, or also to you, or to every one of us. Okay, why? Because whenever we face a problem or issue or something out of the norm, right, we naturally want to like shut down and we say, oh yeah, can't be done, right? This never been done before, right? Can't be done. Oh, I can't do this, right? So immediately we say cannot, I can't, right? So that hurts a lot, right? So I think the first thing you need to do is you need to be open-minded and say, oh, why not, right? Why not we try new things? Why not we try this way instead of the same old way, right? So that is small shift, but big leap, I would say, like stop saying cannot, start saying why not.
I agree there 100%. And I think that is something that can be implemented even outside of work. So for everything that you're doing in life, and that can help a lot of people improve their lives when they open themselves up to new experiences. A lot of new good things come into our lives.
Exactly. So be open, right? That is the mantra, I would say, right? Be open.
Hey, if you love using YouTube, I recommend the free Chrome extension called TubeBuddy. It allows you to do some advanced keyword research, cut your publishing time in half, and also rank your videos higher in search. I use them when creating for all my 3 channels. They have a paid version as well, but I recommend starting with the free option for starters. They give you a lot of data when watching YouTube, also comparing your stats to other YouTube channels, and help me a lot to gain more subscribers and more viewers on my channels. As I said, it's a free Chrome extension, but please use the link down below in the comments. And if you go for the paid version, type in BornATubers to get a discount of 20%. And now let's get back to the video.
Yeah, I agree. Dickson, tell me please, one of the big topics there that you mentioned is technology and machine learning and AI. I have a feeling that maybe not everyone is familiar with that topic, and not everyone is doing research on how it's developing and where it is going. But a lot of people know that it's happening, that something is going on, that people are working on something. Can you give us an example, or a few examples maybe, on where machine learning is right now, and what are some of the things that you're looking into right now?
Oh, okay. Great question. Yes, there's a lot of discussions around like machines, automation, and all this, like whether this technology will take jobs away from people, or whether it is about like creating new jobs for people. Right. The way I see it is most of the standardized tasks or simple tasks or programmable tasks, right, will be automated anyway. Right. So standardized tasks could be about like transportation, right, from point A to point B, or physical movement, right? You move one thing from point A to point B, or some basic research, right? Maybe like keyword scanning, right? All these kind of things, right, will definitely go to the machine, right? So then some of the audience here, right, may be asking, hey, Dickson, then what is left, right, for human, right, for us, right? So I would say it is about those jobs, right, that requires creative thinking, that requires creativity, and also those jobs that require humanity, right, humanity. So what does that mean? Is that means if you want to like upskills your career, right? Make sure that, right, you go into a job function, you go to an industry, right, that you can develop your creativity, your creative thinking, and at the same time, right, focus on those job functions or job roles that require some human care, right? So, so these are the two areas I would say, okay, your audience will probably can focus on.
I can imagine that it still sounds far away for a lot of people, because when I think of a standard company that's maybe not that big, they're not even considering using AI for anything yet. They're still hiring people, they're still putting people on more and more jobs to develop their business. But you're saying that this technology is coming soon. Do you know how far we are in maybe years from a lot of companies starting to use AI in their regular business? And when do you think it may become a problem for people that they start losing their jobs? Is it something that we'll see this year, or is it in 5 years, 10 years? How do you look at it?
Sure. I mean, there are different discussions and different research done by different organizations. But if you look at the World Economic Forum, right, the World Economic Forum, they mentioned that, right, by year 2025, right, year 2025, some of the most important skills, right, will be about like problem solving. That means like, how do you solve a problem? Okay, why problem solving is important? Because the future is increasingly uncertain. You won't be able to see far, right? Because the world is just changing so fast, right? So for example, right, for COVID, right, nobody imagined, right, there's such thing called COVID pandemic, right? So the world is increasingly uncertain, right? So that's why your ability to change and to pivot quickly, that is very important. And that's why problem solving is one of the core skill pillars, as dictated by the World Economic Forum, right? And if you're asking me about, okay, the technology, the AI, right, when will it taking over the humans, or when will they take away some of the jobs, right? I would say this is an ongoing process, right? We are already seeing like AI automation, I mean, like increasingly more important, right? And for example, right, in the automobile sector, we are seeing more and more like so-called autonomous car, right? So, I won't be able to put an exact time frame, but it is now. It is now, right? So my advice to the audience is to, and also to my friends is, okay, start doing something now, right? Now or never, right? Now or never.
Of course. So if somebody is in a company and they're working at a job where they have been there for a few years, and they see this, they hear this, and now their question is, all right, what can I do now? How can I start shifting my career? So let's say in the next 5 or 10 years, I am a different person. I upgraded myself, my knowledge, my creativity. What can they do? How can they direct their career?
Okay, sure. I think what they can do is like they can look at the tasks, right, that they are doing in their day-to-day job. Right? Look at the tasks they are doing right now. Are those tasks are just of something, right, repetitive, right, just keep on repeating types of nature, something standardized, something programmable? That means, are they just doing something to so-called maintaining the status quo, right? So are they doing some tasks just to maintain the status quo, or are they doing something to create something new? Okay, so there's a two things here. Right? One is about maintaining the status quo, right? So you look at your task. Are your tasks is about maintaining the status quo? Right? Or is your task is about creating something, right? Creating something new. So if you realize your task is just maintaining the status quo, right? That is no good. What you need to do is you need to focus your energy and your time to something what I call the new creation, right? New creation. So specifically, there are 3 areas that you can look at. Right? Number 1 is creation of new products. Right? So can you help your company or help yourself, right, create some new product to the market, right? So that's number 1 about new product. Secondly, is about new services, right? Can you do something to better serve your customer so that the customer will be happy and they will be happy to coming back to you. And the third one, of course, will be about new processes, right? New processes. Are there some new ways to do things, right? Instead of using the same old way, can you leverage on technology? can you come up with new ideas in terms of the new workflow, right? So in summary, I would say we need to focus on the new creation, right? Specifically about A, new product, B, new services, and C, new processes.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Yes, I think companies should think that way, and also individuals, because that way long-term thinking will get you the results. Because everything that you mentioned there, I don't think can be done overnight. So when people implement that strategy, I think they have to think it might be done in 1 year or maybe in a few years when it's fully implemented, and then we will see the results. That's also a question that I asked on the presentation that you did for Sasha Petar, where I had a situation where I presented ideas to companies, and they were looking only through the idea of profit. All right, Borna, where is the profit in this new idea that you're bringing on? It was creative. It was something different. It was not something that the company was standardly doing. And there was a little bit of resistance there because companies, of course, want to make profit. And I would love to ask you the question again: how can people maybe implement their ideas faster if they know that they are creative and that it could help the company? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, great. Yes, I think on one hand, we are talking about creativity, creative thinking, right? But on the other hand, we also need to be practical, right? Because we are living in a business world, business society. We are working inside an organization. There's a lot of like red tapes or system that we need to follow. Okay, so what's the best way, right, to come up with a creative idea and bring it to execution and implementation, right? I would say the important thing is about whether you can take these creative ideas and present it, right, to the senior management for buy-in, or even to other stakeholders for buy-in. Actually, in my book, one of the chapters, right, I talk about, right, how people can actually use a simple, right, 4-step system, right, to actually bring the creative ideas to the management for their buy-in, right? I call it the PPCO, right? So means the first P is about pluses. That means like what is so good about your ideas, right? The second is about potential, right? So what are the potential benefit of these ideas? And then the third one is what we call the concern, right? Can you PM and predict some of the objections, right, from the senior management, what kind of concern they might have? And then last but not least is about, right, right, the overcome, right? Are there something you can think of, right, to overcome all this objection, right? So that you can get the buy-in from the senior management or from the stakeholder, right? So I call it the PPCO.
Excellent, brilliant model. I'll definitely look into that. And thank you for sharing those ideas, Dickson. I'm sure that a lot of people will find some use cases for them in their own companies and careers as well. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the Uncle Gold podcast. If you want to support this whole project, make sure you go to the second channel called Uncle Gold Podcast Clips. There I create short form videos with the best topics from the interviews that I do on the main channel. You get their videos daily. They're separated nicely into playlists, so you can choose the topic that you want to watch most. And now, let's go back to the video. I know that since we mentioned it now, that money is a big question for people in their lives. And I think that a lot of it comes as a result of developing yourself, because it's not just taking a new job or doing something different. It's about thinking differently, and making money is, in my opinion, directly related to how creative you are and how you manage your life and everything that you do. Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts on money and how it impacts you and people around you, and how maybe people should change their thinking about money to improve their lives?
Oh, okay, sure. Well, I mean, like money is important because everyone needs money to survive and also to thrive, right? So, but I think in order to so-called in order to get money, right, in order to gain money, right, you need to focus on like what kind of value, right, what kind of value you can deliver to your customers or client, right? So it is about the value, right? So, so fundamentally, it is about, right, number one, right, can you create a better product or better product experience, right, for your customer, right? So that's number one. Number two is, can you serve them? Can you serve them better? Right? There are some new ways you can serve them better. And the third one is about some new processes, right? So can you come up with some new processes so that you deliver a better experience? How you can optimize the process so that you and your customers can interact much better, right? So fundamentally, it's all about creating value, right, through product, services, and also the processes. And that's why I believe if you can also leverage on the digital technology, right, and to deliver better value to the customers or client, that will be amazing. And that's why, right, digital transformation is such a huge topic right now.
It is. I think because of this whole lockdown period in the last 1.5, 2 years, everything kind of got faster and people were not prepared for it. They were kind of shocked. But now, since more time passed, people started embracing more of these digital technologies online, starting with social media, starting with Zoom calls. Everything kind of got faster. Everything got more online and connected. What's your opinion on being online and connecting to people? Do you think it made things better, easier? Are people still kind of longing for the old version? And how do you see that online space developing?
Okay, yeah, great question. So I believe human connection is about it is not just about the network, right? But it also how deep is that relationship, right? So I think nowadays with social media, with technology, we can get connected with people all around the world very easily, right? So I think the ability to connect, right, is not the problem, right? But I think the real challenge is about how you can develop deeper relationship, have like a more engaged dialogue with the people you meet online, right? So I think that is a challenge, and that is something for the young professionals, right, need to think about, right? So that means like it's not just about like how many people you know, right, but it's also about, right, what kind of value you can bring to that person, and also what kind of value that person can bring to you, so that both of you will be able to have some meaningful conversation, right? So I think the focus is not just about, okay, how big is my network or how many followers I have on social media, but it is about, right, the depth of interactions.
Yes, I agree. That's one of the main reasons I started this podcast, is to kind of go deep into conversations about topics like this that can be valuable for people. And I know that you're on YouTube yourself, and while we're on artificial intelligence, YouTube has a huge program called Google Brain, which is the algorithm behind the YouTube algorithm, and how it sends videos to people and how it makes recommendations to people based on what they like. So that's one of the first use cases that I've seen of artificial intelligence being used every day. Because when I analyze my videos, I always think of what the audience wants to hear. But I also have to optimize everything for the YouTube algorithm, that it recognizes the video and it scans through it to see if you have some copyrighted work or if you did something that shouldn't be in the video. There's the first example where it is already scanned by AI. But it's, as you said, it is the connection with the people. So if I make a video that connects well with people, the algorithm will react better to it. So it's not just the machine, it's people and the machine.
Exactly. So I think it's like as long as like people resonate with your content, people start to like it or share it with others, right? Then that will automatically trigger the algorithm, right? So I think for most of us who are creating content to share our thoughts, ideas, and expertise, I think fundamentally is we need to make sure that we create good quality content that connects with people. And I must say, Bona, you have done a great job in terms of like creating great content, right, to deliver value to people and get connected with people, right? So I love your work, right? So keep it up, right? Great job.
Thank you,
Great job.
Dickson. It means a lot to me. I was on your previous presentation. I was impressed how interactive you made your presentation. Every few minutes, you were asking the audience. You wanted their feedback. You did statistics and analysis, and then you adjusted your presentation based on that. So I really love that part, and I learned from that a lot. And I think I'm going to do more of these things where I engage the audience more, because it's a good example. Because if people can participate, then they put more emotion into it, and then they get more out of it because they feel like they're part of this interview that we're having right now. And it's just a new level of engagement for people, which is in its definition very creative. And can you talk to me a little bit, because the main idea of this podcast is personal development. I have a feeling that creativity forces you to develop yourself, because you're forced to ask questions that you haven't asked before, and that's where people develop themselves. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Oh, great question. And yeah, this is also one of the topics I'm passionate about, is how can you be a better person, right? Yes. So it's about like a self-development, personal development, self-help. How can you be a better version of yourself, right? Compared to yesterday or compared to last month. Actually, creativity is super, super important and applicable in terms of personal development, right? Because for me, creativity means, right, you are opening up to new possibility, right? So for me, creativity is about opening up to new possibility. So what does that mean, right? In terms of personal development, that means you should be opening up yourself up, right, to some new ideas, like new trends or new skills. So for example, right, if you feel that, okay, you want to learn more about like AI, machine learning, okay, go take a course, right, or go check it out online, right? There's a lot of resources that you can learn, right? Or let's say you want to learn painting, or you enjoy painting, okay, just take a class or just do something, right? Or let's say you want to go and run for marathon, right? Just do it, right? Just do it, right? Open yourself up to different possibility, right? Some of these things you might not have done it before, okay, but if you have an open mind, if you have a creative mind, you will be opening up yourself, right, to different possibility. So I think the key message here is like, open up, try new things, and that's the best way, right, to do personal development, right? It's about opening up to new possibilities.
Yeah, amazing. I agree on that one. Moving to Ireland was one of my decisions to open up a little bit to new ideas, and
you got it,
culture.
Exactly.
And it was a big step, you know, because when you're in one place a long time, you get used to a lot of things, and everything is kind of the same. Everybody thinks the same. But when you move to a new place, then the mindset starts to shift a little bit, and you get to learn a lot of new things. And just the language part, it changes how you think, and you get a lot of insight into people's perspectives, and you get a lot of new ideas. So I think that moving and changing things up can also increase creativity for people, just because you're not doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it is about opening up to new possibility. Give it a try, right? Don't overthink it, right? Don't overthink it, right? Just give it a try, right? Just give it a try. It won't hurt. So.
I agree. Dickson, as we're coming closer to the end of this podcast, there's a question that I always save for the last, which is kind of the main ideas of the podcast, is finding the gold in life. Not everybody was taught everything from the start, and a lot of people are out there searching for questions and answers. How do you find your gold in life, and what would you recommend to people? How do they find their gold in life?
Oh, okay. You mean like you mean the life purpose, or this kind of thing? Okay. Yeah, actually, it's a great question. It's a great question. And to be honest, I'm always in the mode of searching, right? Because right, it seems that okay, you have this goal, and then after that, right, you move to the other, right? So, but I think the key thing is here is about right, the best way to find your goal or your purpose is to try more new things, right? Try more new things, because by trying more new things, you will be able to screen out, right, those so-called bad ideas, right? So So I would suggest, right, just try different things, try different jobs, try different projects, different industry, meet different types of people, move yourself out of your comfort zone, enlarge your social circle, right? So I think that is one way we can do, right, to find our goal, right? So that's one part of it. And secondly is about, right, always keep learning, keep trying new things, right? Because in this modern world, I don't think you have like one goal and then you will stick to it, right, throughout, right? And probably this goal is like kind of like a moving goal. It kind of like it is moving, right? You need to be keep up with the changing times, right? So yeah, so I would say like keep learning, right? Keep exploring.
Amazing. Thank you very much for that, Dickson. Is there anything else that you want to say to the audience at the end of the podcast here?
Oh, okay, sure. So I think my final message to the audience is like open up, try new things, right? Open up, try new things. So that is my core message.
That's where the results will come from.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Dickson. For everyone who's interested in finding out more about your work, we'll leave all the links below in the comments of the video. Also to your YouTube channel, where you do a lot more videos and discuss some of these topics in a lot of videos. I loved your channel, and I've seen a few of your videos, so I can definitely recommend that. And thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for being here until the end of this podcast. Leave us a comment, please, how you liked it, what part was most interesting to you, what was something new that you learned, and what are some of the topics that we maybe didn't discuss enough into detail where you would like to learn more about for maybe episode number 2. And thank you again, Dickson, for coming to the Uncle Gold podcast. I wish you best of luck and success, and I'm looking forward to your next lectures and more of your videos.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Bona, for having me. Great to be here, and I wish you and the audience all the best in the future. Right? Good luck. Cheers.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys. Thank you. Bye.
You too. Cheers. Bye-bye.
The Uncle Gold Podcast.